Welcome to another CalCATS video tutorial. How do I configure PRAMR with CalCATS? CalCATS has a tight integration with CalPEATS to achieve seamless time entry as well as automated data entry for the PRAMR to fulfill the county's reporting requirements to DPR. Given the flexibility of CalCATS on how a county can set up their time categories, it comes to no surprise that the PRAMR configuration is flexible as well. Before we dive into the setup, let's take a high-level overview on how timesheet categories are mapped to PRAMR sections. The individual timesheets are combined by timesheet categories. Each timesheet category can be configured to belong to a specific PRAMR section. This mapping determines if and to which section a category belongs to. You can have multiple CalCATS timesheet categories belonging to one single PRAMR section. The combined time of all the configured timesheet categories for all the county staff will be populated into the PRAMR section for that month. For this tutorial, we will map the section 4.A, which is restricted material ag permits, and section 4.B, restricted material non-ag permits. To make things interesting, I want to distinguish the ag times between in-person visits and permit reviews over the phone. Both timesheet categories have to be mapped to a single PRAMR section 4.A. For simplicity reasons, I keep 4.B at a single timesheet category. Let's have a quick look at the monthly activity screen in CalCATS. First, you notice a new selector for display, CalCATS entries only. These are all the PRAMR sections that are already mapped to a CalCATS timesheet category. For example, section 4.B is already set up, but 4.A is missing from this list. The manual entries still contain 20 or so sections. Those are the sections that have not been mapped yet, and other non-time related entries that still have to be filled out manually, unfortunately. Like section 4.D, the amount of NOIs reviewed denied. Here we find also the section 4.A that we will be mapping in the next following steps. Back at CalCATS, we navigate to the timesheet configuration page. Only users with appropriate permissions have access to this page. You see there are already set up categories for RMP Ag and Restricted Material Permit Non-Ag. Since we want to split out RMP Ag categories, we rename the existing category to RMP Ag in person and assign 4.A as a PRAMR section. Then we are creating a second timesheet category, Restricted Material Ag Phone, and set the PRAMR category also to 4.A. The non-ag time category is already set up, but it's best to double check that the correct PRAMR category is already assigned, so let's do that. which it is with 4.b, restricted materials, non-agricultural permits, hours. Okay, so much for the setup, and we are ready to enter some hours. I navigate to the timesheet, and I already see the in-person category, but not the other two. I click on the Add Timesheet Row link and add the other two restricted material ones to my list. All right, now I enter 4 hours for the in-person restricted material permits. Two hours for restricted material permits on the phone. And 8 hours for non-ag restricted material permits. I close my timesheet by setting the timesheet status to approved. That I'm able to do so because I gave myself the appropriate permissions just for convenience sake. Bringing up CalPEATS and switching the display back to the CalCATS settings. As expected, the hours for the month of June show 6 hours for section 4.a, and that is from the 4 hours in person and 2 hours phone time entries. And then the 8 hours of non-ag RMP time entries show up in section 4.b. Once you map all timesheet categories with CalCATS, the work it takes to manually enter data into the PRAMR section will be reduced to only 14 entries, and that will make some people very, very happy. You have seen how simple it is to set up and maintain CalCATS timesheet categories and map them to the appropriate PRAMR sections in CalPEATS. Thank you for watching, and have a productive day with CalCATS.